How can a man change the world without a university degree? How can someone born into poverty become one of the most important scientists in history, while being told he doesn't belong among scientists at all? Imagine standing outside the doors of elite institutions, watching educated scholars discuss discoveries that are reshaping the world. Knowing you have the curiosity, knowing you have the talent, but also knowing that society sees you as unqualified. Most people would accept their place. One young man refused. He started as a bookbinder's apprentice, a teenager who spent his days repairing books written by other people. Yet before his life was over, he would help unlock the secrets of electricity, magnetism, and modern technology. His name was Michael Faraday. And the man many considered unqualified would help power the future. Before we begin, thank you for coming back and spending a few moments with us today. Tonight's story is about a man who proved that curiosity and determination can overcome even the greatest barriers. Now, let's uncover the remarkable story behind the history. And if you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and join us for the next one. Michael Faraday was born in 1791 in London, England. His family was poor. Very poor. His father worked as a blacksmith and struggled to support the household. Formal education was limited. Unlike many famous scientists of his era, Faraday did not attend prestigious universities. He did not grow up surrounded by wealthy scholars. He did not possess the advantages that often open doors in scientific circles. What he did possess was curiosity. An enormous amount of it. As a young boy, Faraday received only basic schooling. By modern standards, his education was minimal. Yet he loved learning. The problem was access. Books were expensive. Scientific knowledge often remained concentrated among the wealthy and educated. For someone from Faraday's background, opportunities were rare. Then fate intervened. At the age of 14, Faraday became an apprentice to a bookbinder. At first glance, the job seemed ordinary. He repaired books, bound pages, organized materials. Nothing about it suggested scientific greatness. Yet the workshop contained something priceless. Books. Hundreds of them. While binding volumes, Faraday began reading them. Whenever time allowed, he studied science, chemistry, physics, electricity. Anything that captured his imagination. The more he read, the more fascinated he became. Many people read books. Faraday absorbed them. One title proved especially influential. Books explaining scientific experiments opened a completely new world. Faraday didn't simply read descriptions. He tried to understand them. Visualize them. Recreate them. Soon he began conducting small experiments himself. Using simple materials, simple tools, and extraordinary determination. At the time, science was changing rapidly. Researchers across Europe explored mysterious forces such as electricity and magnetism. These subjects fascinated the public because so little was understood. People knew electrical effects existed. But why? How? What could they do? The answers remained unclear. Faraday wanted to find them. Then came an opportunity that would change his life. Faraday attended lectures delivered by the famous scientist Humphrey Davy. Davy was one of the most respected scientific figures in Britain. Faraday listened carefully, took detailed notes, and later bound those notes into a book. Then he did something bold. He sent them to Davy, along with a request for work. Most people would never have expected a response. Faraday was an unknown apprentice. Davy was a scientific celebrity. Yet remarkably, Davy noticed him. Whether because of the quality of the notes, Faraday's enthusiasm, or a combination of both, an opportunity emerged. Eventually, Faraday became Davy's assistant. The young bookbinder suddenly found himself working inside one of Britain's most important scientific institutions. The transition was not easy. Many members of the scientific establishment looked down on Faraday. He lacked formal credentials. He came from a working-class background. He had no university education. In elite circles, these facts mattered. Some viewed him as an outsider, a technician, not a true scientist. Faraday ignored them. Instead, he focused on learning, observing, experimenting. As Davy conducted research, Faraday absorbed knowledge constantly. He traveled, met leading scientists, handled equipment, witnessed discoveries firsthand. Every experience expanded his understanding. Over time, Faraday began conducting original research of his own. His talents became increasingly obvious. He possessed an unusual gift for experimentation. Many scientists excelled at mathematics. Faraday excelled at discovering how nature behaved. He designed experiments that revealed hidden patterns. And those patterns would change history. One of the biggest mysteries of the era involved electricity and magnetism. Researchers knew the two phenomena existed, but the relationship between them remained unclear. Then, in 1820, a breakthrough occurred. Scientists discovered that electric currents could influence magnets. The finding raised an exciting question. Could the reverse also be true? Could magnets generate electricity? Faraday became obsessed with the problem. For years, he experimented. Again and again. Failure followed failure. The answer remained hidden. Many researchers would have moved on. Faraday persisted. Finally, in 1831, he made one of the most important discoveries in scientific history. Electromagnetic induction. Faraday demonstrated that moving a magnet near a wire could generate an electric current. The effect sounds simple today. At the time, it was revolutionary. Because it revealed a practical method for producing electricity. Modern civilization depends heavily on this principle. Electric generators. Power stations. Many forms of electrical production. All rely on concepts connected to Faraday's discovery. When electricity powers homes, hospitals, factories, and cities, the underlying science traces directly back to work Faraday helped pioneer. Imagine the significance. A man with little formal education had uncovered one of the foundations of the electrical age. The outsider had become one of the world's leading scientific thinkers. And Faraday wasn't finished. His research continued producing remarkable results. He developed the first simple electric motor concepts. Studied electrochemistry. Introduced important scientific terminology still used today. Investigated magnetic fields. and repeatedly pushed scientific understanding forward. Perhaps one of his greatest strengths was his ability to think visually. Unlike many physicists, Faraday relied less on advanced mathematics and more on physical intuition. He imagined invisible forces filling space, fields extending around magnets and electrical currents. At the time, some scientists found these ideas difficult to accept. Yet they would later influence some of the most important developments in physics. Years afterward, the great physicist James Clerk Maxwell built mathematical theories upon concepts Faraday had introduced. Those theories helped unify electricity and magnetism into a coherent framework. Without Faraday's experimental insights, modern physics might have developed very differently. His influence eventually reached even further. Decades later, scientists such as Albert Einstein admired Faraday's work. Einstein reportedly kept a picture of Faraday among the scientists he respected most. That admiration reflected Faraday's extraordinary impact on scientific history. Despite growing fame, Faraday remained remarkably humble. He showed little interest in wealth or political power. Several prestigious opportunities came his way. Some he declined. He preferred research, teaching, discovery. Science itself mattered more than status. Faraday also became famous for public lectures. He possessed a rare ability to explain complex ideas clearly. Audiences packed lecture halls to hear him speak. Children, adults, scientists, non-scientists. Everyone seemed captivated. He understood that knowledge becomes more valuable when shared. One of his most enduring traditions remains the Christmas lectures at the Royal Institution. These educational presentations continue today, introducing scientific ideas to new generations. The legacy stretches across centuries. Yet Faraday never forgot where he came from. He understood what it meant to begin without advantages. To stand outside elite institutions. To teach himself because no formal pathway existed. That experience shaped his character throughout life. As he grew older, health problems gradually reduced his ability to work. Scientific research became more difficult. His memory occasionally faltered. The relentless pace of discovery slowed. But his influence continued expanding. Students studied his work. Engineers applied his discoveries. Industries emerged from principles he had uncovered. Michael Faraday died in 1867. By then, the foundations of the electrical age were already forming. The full impact of his discoveries had not yet appeared. That would come later. Power grids. Electric motors. Modern communications. Countless technologies. All would build upon scientific foundations Faraday helped establish. Today, it is difficult to imagine life without electricity. Lights. Computers. Medical equipment. Transportation systems. Factories. Communication networks. The modern world depends on electrical technologies in ways Faraday could scarcely have imagined. Yet many of those technologies exist because of principles he uncovered through careful experimentation. The people who doubted Faraday focused on what he lacked. A university degree. Prestigious credentials. Social status. Formal qualifications. They saw limitations. Faraday saw questions waiting to be answered. And that is why his story remains so powerful. Because history's greatest breakthroughs do not always come from the people society expects. Sometimes they come from a curious apprentice reading books after work. A young man teaching himself science because nobody else would. A person considered unqualified, who ends up changing the world. When Michael Faraday first entered the world of science, many believed he didn't belong there. By the time he left it, the world itself had changed. And much of that change began with a bookbinder who refused to stop asking questions.